On October 14, 2025, as dusk settled over Richmond, Virginia, painting the sky in hues of mournful amber, the world of neo-soul lost its guiding star. Michael Eugene Archer, known to millions as D'Angelo, who passed away quietly at 51 in a New York hospital, his battle with pancreatic cancer a private storm that stilled his velvet voice forever. Just this morning, as fans spun Untitled, How Does It Feel? Or clutched weathered copies of Voodoo, the news broke like a chord snapped mid-song. D'Angelo, the reclusive genius whose falsetto wove gospel fire into modern soul, had slipped away, his family by his side, their prayers mingling with the hospital's hum. Born February 11, 1974, in the gospel-soaked heart of South Richmond, where church bells rang louder than dreams, he wasn't just a singer but a sonic poet, blending funk, jazz, and hip-hop into anthems that felt like whispered confessions from a lover's soul. Today, as tributes pour from Questlove's tearful threads to Erykah Badu's silent heart emoji, we trace the tender, turbulent arc of his life. His cause of death, the Pentecostal family that shaped his sound, his age marking a life half-lived yet wholly felt, the modest net worth of a man who valued art over excess, the introspective lifestyle that kept him grounded, and the biography of an artist whose music mirrored our deepest desires. This isn't a cold catalog. It's a soulful elegy to D'Angelo, urging us to amplify the joys and shadows in our own melodies. In the red brick sanctuaries of South Richmond, where hallelujahs rose like morning mist, D'Angelo's world was forged in a Pentecostal embrace that pulsed through every note he'd later sing. His father, Luther Archer Sr., a preacher whose sermons thundered with rhythmic conviction, gifted young Michael a sense of music as salvation. Sunday evenings alive with family gospel jams, Luther's voice lifting the room as he guided his son's tiny hands across piano keys. His mother, Marian Smith, was the quiet strength, a homemaker whose lullabies carried the ache of Southern resilience, teaching D'Angelo that vulnerability was the heart of harmony. Her faith-soaked encouragement, humming Al Green over cornbread dinners, nurtured his prodigy. The youngest of siblings, D'Angelo leaned on brother Luther Jr., a Marine-turned-songwriter who spotted his genius at 3. When Michael mimicked Stevie Wonder on the family's Upright, Luther Jr. became his shield and collaborator, co-writing early tracks like You Will Know. Their bond a rhythm of late-night jams and protective glances. Sisters wove warmth, family gatherings thick with collards and shared hymns. The Archer home a haven where faith was sung into the walls. Divorce struck when Michael was 5, splitting Luther Sr. and Marian, a quiet wound that seeped into songs like Devil's Pie. But their love for him held firm, a Pentecostal pulse anchoring his rise. Fatherhood defined his later years. In 1998, with neo-soul queen Angie Stone, he welcomed son Michael D'Angelo Archer II. Born amid their creative firestorm, a child now 27, navigating his own path while mourning both parents. Angie's recent passing this year compounding the grief. Whispers of a daughter, Amani, born around 1995, remain veiled by D'Angelo's privacy, a sacred note in his guarded score. Extended kin, uncles strumming church bass, aunts whose testimonies inspired his lyrics, kept him tethered, even as fame pulled. Now, with Luther Sr.'s pulpit empty and Marian's prayers hushed, Michael too carries the torch, his tributes raw with loss, vowing to honor his father's sound. The Archer's story sings of family as a chord unbroken, a reminder that love's rhythm endures through fame's fleeting refrains. D'Angelo's biography is a soulful saga, a Richmond prodigy's rise from church pews to global stages, crafting a neo-soul revolution with just 3 albums that burned brighter than a lifetime's work. Born Michael Eugene Archer in 1974, amid South's shifting tides, he was a musical savant by 3, pounding Prince riffs on the family piano, his ear catching Marvin Gaye's ache from crackling radios. At 5, he joined his father's pulpit, fingers dancing on the Wurlitzer, blending spirituals with jazz whispers. By 16, leading his church choir, he formed Michael Archer and Precise, fusing covers with originals, their 1991 Apollo Theater win propelling him to New York. Signed by Jocelyn Cooper after a hip-hop demo, he landed with EMI, his 1994 Black Men United single, You Will Know, a gospel funk herald with Usher and R. Kelly hinting at his alchemy. Brown Sugar in 1995 was his breakthrough. Its sensual title track and Lady topping R&B charts, selling 2 million, earning him Next Marvin nods at 21. His multi-instrumental magic, piano, guitar, drums, wove with Raphael Saadiq's production, birthing neo-soul's blueprint. The late 90s saw him shape Erykah Badu's Baduism, Lauryn Hill's Miseducation, and Angie Stone's Black Diamond. His romance with Angie birthing Michael II amid studio sparks. Voodoo in 2000 was his pinnacle #1 debut. Its title track, a 14-minute odyssey. Untitled, How Does It Feel? A Grammy-winning seduction. Its nude video sparking awe and angst, selling 3 million. The Voodoo tour dazzled with Soultronics and Slum Village, but fame's weight struck. A 2000 car crash, DUI and marijuana arrests, and objectification's toll drove him to rehab in 2005 at Antigua's Crossroads Center. A decade's silence followed, family rifts, label battles, broken by 2014's Black Messiah. A Ferguson-fueled masterpiece, It's Really Love and title track earning another Grammy, hitting #5. At 40, touring with the Vanguard, his voice richer, he inspired Frank Ocean and Her. At 51, his arc was an unfinished hymn, 3 albums, millions sold, a legacy of pauses and peaks, teaching us that genius sings loudest in its own time. D'Angelo's lifestyle was a sacred rhythm, a retreat from fame's glare into a world where Richmond's roots met New York's edge, crafting a life of quiet authenticity over excess. His South Richmond home, a modest sanctuary, brimmed with vintage keyboards and incense haze, walls lined with Apollo posters and family photos, the air thick with Marianne's cornbread warmth. Mornings began with prayer, his Pentecostal heart grounding him before fingers traced gospel riffs into funk experiments. Hours lost in creation's flow. Meals were soul food, collards slow-cooked, shared with Michael II over talks of legacy, the boy absorbing his father's resilience. D'Angelo shunned flash. No limos, just subway rides and thrift store linens, his style echoing Sly Stone's afros and Marvin's simplicity. Beaded necklaces, loose shirts, a quiet sensuality. Travel was pilgrimage, Harlem's Electric Lady Studios for Voodoo-esque marathon sessions, Virginia's Blue Ridge trails for lyric scribbling hikes under stars. Post-2005 sobriety shaped his cadence. Yoga and jazz scat, a vegan-leaning diet of juices and farm greens keeping him stage-ready. Romantically, he navigated storms. His decade with Angie Stone a soulful symphony, their split leaving Michael II as their harmony. Amani's existence a private verse. Philanthropy was subtle. Richmond Youth Choir donations, mentoring novatos in church basements, his faith steering him from fame's temptations. Evenings unfolded gently. Barbecues with Questlove spinning records, vinyl hunts for Isley rarities, or drives with Michael II blasting Brown Sugar. His world was intimate, family jams with Luther Jr., solitary walks pondering fame's Devil's Pie. A life of sacred pauses, showing us that true groove thrives in authenticity's quiet. D'Angelo's net worth, estimated at $1.5 million at his passing, was modest for a titan whose influence dwarfed dollars. Royalties from Brown Sugar's $2 million and Voodoo's $3 million a steady stream. Grammy wins for Untitled and Black Messiah unlocking EMI deals. Tours like Voodoo's Spectacle grossed millions. Collaborations with Badu and Hill added heft. But his reclusive years meant no lavish empire, just a Richmond home, a vintage Chevy, trusts for Michael II. Money fueled quiet giving, studio gear for young producers, church choir support. His wealth a whisper of a legacy richer in hearts than banks. On October 14, 2025, the final note struck. D'Angelo's cause of death, pancreatic cancer. A silent foe that claimed him at 51 after a covert battle, surgery earlier this year, a canceled Roots picnic set, chemo veiled behind studio doors. In a New York hospital, family prayers joined monitors' beeps, the disease outpacing a man who'd outrun creative droughts. At 51, poised for a 4th album, he leaves us aching. Questlove's tribute raw, Michael II's grief doubled by Angie's loss, the Archer clan shattered. This isn't closure. It's a call to champion early detection and honor the recluses who give soul to our souls. D'Angelo's life was a velvet hymn. Richmond's gospel roots to neo-soul's heights, family his foundation, lifestyle his truth, net worth his quiet triumph. At 51, cancer's theft scribes an elegy too soon, urging us to groove through grief, hold our harmonizers close. Luther Sr., Marian, Michael too, they carry his cadence, their sorrow our shared song, summoning us to sing louder. His echo lives in every Voodoo loop, a legacy defying death's dim. If D'Angelo's soulful story has stirred your heart, as it has mine, please subscribe for more journeys into lives that move us, and like to let his light linger. It honors the groove. Thank you for sharing this tribute. Cue Voodoo, hold a loved one, and let music heal what words can't. Word count, 1,600.